Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan. Now, you're watching these in order. I literally just got done reviewing my Blanton straight from the barrel. Phenomenal bottle. Happy I bought it. So with that, we are going to start getting into our comparison videos. So I got several bottles here where I've been fortunate enough to get a second bottle of them. So we have High West Campfire, E.H. Taylor Small Batch, Elmer T. Lee, Blanton's, just the regular Blanton's, Weller Antique 107, and Maker's 46. And then also our Stags. And then also this one here, which is Freeland Spirits out of Portland, Oregon. This is their bourbon. It's a finished bourbon. That's what we're going to be doing in this video. So the original bottle that I bought from Blackwell Wine and Spirits. And you know what? I'm not going to look up the price right now. I don't remember what I paid for it. I want to say it was like $45 or $46, something like that. It's ringing in at 40. Oh, okay. Are these different? Oh, no. It's ringing at 46% ABV. So the one that I originally purchased has a batch number, so it's batch number 20, bottle number 2035. Okay, so that's going to be in glass B. And then, because I had mentioned it to my buddy who lives in Portland, thanks, Jimmer, when he came out to Montana to go antelope hunting here in October, he brought me another bottle of it, which we opened up and gave that a rip. And it does not have a batch number or anything else on there. So, now this one's down pretty low. I do think these might be some of the most fantastic bottles in all of whiskeydom. It has a naked woman on it, so yes. B, I mean, it has just this super thick base and a cool bottle shape to it. So I'm a big fan of it. Not to be perverse, but, it kind of looks like a pair of Chi-Chis here. But with that, I'm very curious to see, are they different batches? Are they different things? I have no idea what kind of volume that they are actually dealing in. Now this is a finished whiskey. It is finished. It does not say this anywhere on here, but it is finished in a wine cask. And I probably should have looked this one up before talking about this, but it does say on their website what it is they are doing. One of their, it's kind of one of them hippy dippy things of Portland, Oregon. But one of the things, it's an all-female distillery, I do believe. And so, you know what? Since it's the same whiskey as far as, and this will be true for all of my comparisons here, I don't think it really matters if I do it blind per se, right? Because essentially it's the same thing. And really what we're trying to do is figure out, like things that aren't batch, things that don't have a batch number, a barrel number, a bottle number, some kind of unique identifier associated with it. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're not going to be able to figure out whether or not your bottle matches my bottle, and therefore all of it's kind of irrelevant. But what we can say is maybe by years, so like the Elmer T. Lee here, when I do this one, I will look up what year I bought the first bottle, and then this year, my second bottle, and we can compare, color, and then we'll compare flavor, and we'll figure out whether or not there's a flavor drift that's going on. It's fairly rare that there isn't. Terrible way of wording that sentence, but it's fairly rare to not have flavor drift, because it's almost impossible to keep things that consistent, especially with distilleries that are growing, getting new master distillers in there, master blenders. All those variables change. Or if you're a very small distillery and you only have so much product to choose from, if you're blending it or if you are, you know, putting your own distillate up, each barrel is going to be unique. And, you know, say you blend a bunch of stuff together. Well, when that run is done of blended stuff, that's how many ever bottles you have. And when that's done, good luck trying to get that exact same profile because pretty much everything's changed at that point. So, you know, that's where the big guys got the advantage to be able to keep a low consistency. But if anybody drinks Wild Turkey 101, you'll know that even with that, it's very difficult to keep a consistent profile. I think I've done a couple of bottle comparisons in the past. I might have to go pick up a second bottle. I bought one a year or two ago because it was head and shoulder. It was literally you could not tell that it came from the same distillery as a previous bottle that I had. I mean, they couldn't have been more different as far as the flavor profile, the notes you were getting, the faults, all of that stuff were completely different. And so, you know, for that reason alone, it's probably a good idea if you haven't already done it to if you find stuff you like, buy maybe 2 bottles of it at one time. Or if there's something that you used to like and then didn't like and then like it again or whatever, you know, like always be on the hunt. Every now and again pick up something that you know, are either super in love with or maybe not as in love with that you might kind of like parts of it and just see where it's at because things change. They definitely change. But with that, let's get into this. So this is B, this is C, this is my old bottle, this is my new bottle. As you can tell by how much I drank from it. The color, it's hard to say because of how much has gone from it. But the color's pretty similar. I would say the new bottle is a little bit darker, but it's kind of hard to tell because of how much is gone from this bottle and whether or not it's just that this one's more full, if that's impacting it. But I'm trying to look at the same level here of where they come up to. And I think this is lighter in color. So we'll see. And if we go in the glasses here, I would say that is true. Bottle A, the old bottle, is a little bit lighter in color than the new one. And let's give it a good SJ. I'll Matt with ADHD whiskey. Okay, that has a grassy vegetal greenness on the nose. Almost a pininess, like a gin quality to it almost. That's interesting. Now this is just the glass that I just got done finishing drinking all those bourbons and doing those last couple of videos out of. I rinsed it, washed it, wiped it out. But yeah, there is a distinct pine, like chewing on a pine needle note in here, a very green vegetal note. On the new one, it is there, but as slight could be. Like so much so that on the very first time I sniffed it, I wafted it. I got it on the second where I quickly went right back into it. It was gone. This has a very much more nice bourbon profile. Now again, I got that green note in there. Now this time on this glass, it's presenting more of a watermelon rind kind of a nose, very similar to the Ancient Age. That if you go back and watch that video, it has a little bit of that just tucked in the back end of that nose. But both of them, yeah, this has pine needle in it. Both of them, very much so, nice bourbon as the mainstay. This one you get a lot of sweet. I will say it's tamped down pretty good. But you get a darker caramel in there. Brown sugary kind of a thing on this one. And on this, it's more forward. So this is more of that honey, vanilla, caramel, a little bit of that floralness, kind of almost leaning into that Buffalo Traceness. And like I said, both of these, I mean, it's the same whiskey, they're the same variety, and they're coming out of a finished barrel out of a wine cask. but I'm not picking any of that up in the nose per se. This one, you might get a little bit of red wine on the back end of that. But I'm not gonna die on that one, on that hill there. The pine has started. It's completely gone away from this. So let's get into the sip. We'll do A, B, B, A, just to see how they impact each other. So now I will give them this. On the palate, extremely nice. It tastes young, has a bunch of sharp notes up front, but there is a lot of sweet richness that comes through. There is a graham cracker in there that is mixed with a confectioner's sugar that is just phenomenal from like the beginning or the end of the beginning to the finish that just keeps on going and going and going. It's one of those things that, or it's a whiskey that if I didn't tell you it was finished, I don't know if you'd be able to put you'd be able to call it out as a finished whiskey. Because now, and it's also interesting because I thought that they had to say bourbon whiskey finished in XYZ, because bourbon itself cannot be anything but 51% corn, new American oak, aged for, well, there's no age requirement, but if it's an NAS, a non-age statement, it has to be at least 4 years old. If it's straight bourbon, it has to be at least 2 years old. So it's interesting. Ooh, this is starting to get that watermelon note now. Watermelon rind. But man, it's sweet. It's easy drinking. That graham cracker note's awesome. There's no faults in the flavor profile. And if I didn't say they're ringing in at 46% ABV, I like it. I like this one a lot. Now in the lingering aftertaste, there's a little bit of that watermelon rind in there. Coming back to this is like solid bourbon. That watermelon rind is gone. This is dark, rich caramel, dark brown sugar. You could almost claim a molasses, a little bit of dark, good vanilla in there. Again, none of that finishing barrel quality in this at all on the nose. Okay, I'll say this from the beginning. They're similar. They're definitely not the same. They are very distinguishable one from the other. This one was just a touch more creamy on the palate and the mouthfeel. The sweeter notes came forward more. It's missing that dense, rich graham cracker that was found in this one. It's there and it's very subtle, kind of tucked in the back end of it. It's very nice. It presents very well, but it's not a dominating factor. Whereas in this one, it was. What else can I say about that? They're both really nice whiskeys. So if you get a chance, definitely check this out. You can buy this online. Like I said, it should be about 40 something bucks. Should ship to most of the country. I bought this one on Blackwell Wine and Spirits out of California. And then my buddy picked this up in Oregon. I think he paid like $46, $47, $48 for this in Oregon. Whereas this, I got it online because paid enough or bought enough whiskey, I got free shipping. So this one's still starting to turn light sweetness. This one's dark sweetness. So now we're gonna drink this and then come back to this and see how this impacts that one. Second sip. Yeah, I mean this is just good sitting, drinking, conversational whiskey. A lot of sweet notes. And where I was going with that, like I don't think you'd be able to pick out that it has a finish on it, but it there's a little something there that you probably wouldn't be able to put your finger on what it is, but you're like, there's a little something different. And it's noticeable in this one because this is like bourbon characteristics, and then there's like another level and layer of flavor added on top of it, which is what a good finished whiskey should do. So I'd say that this fits that bill quite nicely. But just sweetness, dark sweetness, yeah, brown sugar, caramel notes. Like I said, almost a molasses. There is a slight fruit quality to it, dark fruit, but not anything that I would really say is super pronounced. That one's a pretty light flavor profile. And man, on the nose, this is just confectioner sugar, honey, light caramel. And all those sour, grassy, young notes have disappeared on the nose. The watermelon rinds disappeared. Not there at all. Go back in. It's lightened up in flavor. It's all of those nice sweet notes, more subtle, more light. It's just not a density of flavor. But they're all there. They're all noticeable. It's just not hitting you over the head. It has no viscosity on the palate. It's not oily and clingy, but man, graham cracker for days on this one. Yeah, this glass just has this nice, sweet graham cracker finish, mid palate to finish that just keeps going, 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 going. That is like the main flavor of this one. So, yes, these are definitely two different batches. I have no idea what the time frame is on these. I don't. I mean, I think I bought this one a year ago, and my buddy brought me this one in October. So maybe there's like 6 to 8 months difference in the timing of when they were purchased. But that doesn't really mean anything because I have no idea what the time frame or production quantity is on this stuff. But here's the bottom line. Both of them are extremely delicious, and I think they're worth picking up at that 40 something dollar price range. So go ahead, see if you can find them, check them out. But just know there is going to be some flavor drift from batch to batch on these. And at least from the two examples I have sent before me, that's not a problem. They're both good and they're both great in their own right. Neither of them have a fault that I'm like, ugh, that's just so terrible. I wouldn't want anything to do with it. So, and what brings me to that is if you look at the Elijah Craig barrel proof releases, they do the A, B, and C for each year. If you go online on the whiskey tubes there and look at the reviews of it, you will see that there are like they run everything from like, oh my god, I can't hardly drink this, to oh my gosh, this might be the best whiskey of the year kind of a stuff. And everywhere in between. And the fact that there is so much variability in that, I do own a bottle myself. I'm not overly impressed with the particular bottle that I own. I bought it down in Cheyenne. I'm not sure what I paid for it, but I want to say it was like 80 something bucks. And I was just like, yeah, I'm out. Like for as much variability as there is and as much the fact that it gets so far down into the negative category at times, it's just not worth it for me personally to spend that kind of money on a product like that. But this, I think, the price point's excellent, and even though there is variability in it, neither of these two particular releases are bad in any way, shape, or form. So, and if nothing else, you get a really nice $40, $45 decanter. So, go ahead, pick them up, check them out. Drop in the comments down below what your experience with the bourbon from Freeland Spirits over in Oregon is, and what you can find it for in your area if you can. It might be I can't say an Oregon only release because I got mine from California, but it might be a West Coast only thing. I'm sure they have pretty limited distribution, but for the most part, and again, I'm not sponsored by anything or by anybody or anything like that, but Blackwell's, they ship to you in a really nice box with a nice styrofoam divider in there with lids on it, so they package it really well. They ship quickly. I've had no problems with it, and if you're in a state like I am, like in Wyoming, um, they don't they don't charge you an exorbitant like I think so. Some states it's like 450. If you spend 450 or more, you get free shipping. But for Wyoming, if you there was a handful of states that if you spend 350, you got free shipping. And maybe it's if you're in the western states because you don't have to ship it as far or something like that. But for 350, if you spend $350, which is a lot of money, but you know it adds up pretty quick when you're buying whiskey. They had free shipping. And on top of that, a little secret, if you're in the IRS, don't watch this part, but they didn't charge sales tax at all on my purchase here in Wyoming. So, um, yeah, it was a pretty good deal. So go ahead, check them out. You should be able to find this there, and I think they ship to most states. There might only be like 5 states that they don't ship to. So check it out, and I highly encourage it. It's a delicious pour, and I think it's worth every penny. So there you go. Thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much in this video. And man, I was gonna do an Elmer T. Lee, but I think we pretty much had it for the day. So I think we're gonna do this High West, which has a little bit of smoke in it, and that'll kill my palate for the day, and we'll be done. And so with that, have yourselves a great one. We'll catch you in the next video.